the last part of the chapter, Sale of Goods Act, types of conditions and warranties. There are two types, implied as well as express. Implied conditions and warranties and express conditions and warranties. What is express? Are which are expressly provided in the contract. Implied conditions and warranties are those which are implied by law or by custom. These shall prevail in a contract of sale unless the parties agree to the contrary. So as we always have discussed in the types of offer initially in the Indian Contract Act, we have seen that the offer must be either implied or it must be expressed. So either, even if you're giving acceptance, orally you're expressing it or you're mentioning in the contract about the goods, the details about the goods, it is expressly mentioned in the contract. That means it is provided in the contract, whether it can be condition or warranty. What is implied condition or warranty? It is not necessarily mentioned in the contract, but it is understood. Okay, it is understood that once I receive the goods, it will work perfectly. If I am going to purchase a phone, yes, it will work perfectly. Not exactly the sentence would be mentioned on the the box of the phone, right? But then we understand it, or it is understood, or it is implied the conditions on warranty about that particular product or a commodity. You got the difference? Expresses what's mentioned, right? The size, the quality, the price, everything is mentioned about the product in the contract. Whereas what is implied conditions and warranty? It is understood, right? Certain things are understood that yes, I can enjoy the product freely. Yes, the product will work as it is expected to work. These sentences won't be mentioned in the contract, but it is understood. What is express means you express in the contract, implied means you just understand it, right? Not necessarily to mention unless and until the parties want it to mention as well. Let's look at the types of implied conditions. Condition as to title or right to sell. This right is considered as an implied condition in every sale contract. As in, condition to title means if the supplier or if a person is selling a particular car or particular good, he should have the complete ownership rights over it. Correct? Mr. A cannot sell the car of Mr. B. Why? Because A does not have the ownership rights over the car. Only B has the rights over the car. So only B can sell his car to anybody. Correct? So that is called as condition as to title or the right to sell. Who has the right to sell? One who owns the commodity, owns the product, has the right to sell. Second, sale by description. The goods shall correspond with description. So if I have described about the goods, if the supplier or the seller has described, so this is the type of good, this will be the color, size, quantity, etc. Whatever is described, based on that only the goods shall be matching. Okay, that is called as sale by description. I'm going to describe the type of goods I'm selling, and the goods which I'm going to have sold to you must match with the description. Number 3, sale by sample. Goods must be supplied according to the sample. So whenever you're purchasing in bulk order, right, in bulk, right, let's say you're ordering something for the entire class, or ordering something for for all the employees in the factory, right, or the large scale goods or raw materials that you require. Basically, you're ordering in bulk, not just one or two quantity, but in a very large quantity. That means the buyer may compare the sample with the bulk. In that case, the implied condition is that whatever sample the supplier has shown us, finally when the whole bulk of goods reaches the factory, the bulk of goods and the sample must match. Next, goods should be free from any defect. Because it's so much huge quantity, maybe 100 kgs or 200 kgs of raw materials, the buyer cannot check everything, right? He may just randomly check the goods, and the goods must be free from any kind of defect. That means any kind of damages, or in a lot of goods you're providing some 10 quantity of goods with a very, very low quality. That is not accepted. Okay, the implied condition is whatever sample that you have shown, the sample will definitely be of good quality. Whenever you're receiving or delivering the whole bulk of goods, the sample must be the delivered goods must match with the sample, and the delivered goods must be free from any kind of damages or defect, and the bulk should match with the quality of sample. Definitely, as I just mentioned earlier, the quality of the sample, when they're showing the buyer, they definitely will like it, and that's why they order the bulk. But when they're providing the bulk, they cannot provide any lesser quality than what they have promised in the sample. Whatever quality or high quality that you have showcased in the sample, it must match in the bulk order. Understood? That's the sale by sample. It must match with the sample, it must be free from the defect, and the quality of the sample must match with the quality of the bulk of goods delivered. Number 4, sale by sample and description. Goods supply must correspond with sample and description both. So the fourth thing is, either you're selling by sample, either you're selling by description. The bulk order of goods that you're receiving must match with both the sample that you have shown and the way that you have described about the commodity. Number 5, condition of mercantile quality. It means goods must be saleable or marketable. Now, for this simple example can be, now wholesaler is the person who has the same kind of goods in a very large quantity, correct? But who is a retailer who has different sets of goods in a smaller quantity? Is that right? Wholesaler is what? Who has the same kind of goods in a large quantity, and the retailer is the person who has different kinds of goods in a lesser quantity. Now, if a retailer is placing an order, let's say it can be stationery shop, right? He's purchasing books from one supplier. He's purchasing pencils or all the other required stationery from the other supplier. So whenever he's placing the order and taking the delivery of the goods that he is getting or getting delivered must be marketable again. Is that clear? Must be marketable. This applies especially in terms of when the retailer is purchasing or placing an order with the wholesaler or different sets of wholesaler. Whatever goods he is receiving from wholesaler must be what? Marketable. That means the retail must be able to resell it to the consumer. That means it must come in complete package. With that same packaging or with the same package, he must be able to sell it to the ultimate customer. Point 6, wholesomeness condition. This condition applies to perishable or food items. Perishable items is nothing but all the vegetables or fruits or anything that perishes very quickly. That's why we call it as fast moving consumer goods. Have you heard of it? FMCG goods, correct? These are perishable. It has to be moved from the supplier to the consumer very quickly. Otherwise, if you're going to delay it in the transit, the goods may get spoiled. So if such goods are supplied and it damages the health of the buyer, then the seller is liable. So especially that's why we have any food products that you take, right? There'll be when to use instructions, how to use instructions, what is the expiry date, what is the manufacturing date, by which date can you use the particular food product, any food product. All these conditions are mentioned because why? The seller or the supplier does not want the health of the consumer to be damaged or get affected. That is the meaning of wholesomeness condition. That means whatever you're selling, food product you're selling to the consumer, it must be wholesome. It must make the person healthy, not make the person sick. Got the point? So this condition, when does it apply? Only to perishable items. Is that clear? Only to food products. So the seventh one, The last implied condition is conditions implied by custom. Condition as to quality or fitness for a particular purpose may be annexed by the usage of trade. That means implied by custom means for whatever purpose you have bought a particular product or commodity, it must be fit to use. Okay, it must be fit to use. Let's say you have purchased a treadmill, right? Treadmill is used for fitness purpose. If you have bought a treadmill and it is not meant, or it is not doing the work what a treadmill must do, is it any worth purchasing it? No. Implied by custom means whatever purpose you have purchased that particular product or commodity, that objective the product or commodity must be able to fulfill. Is that clear? Condition as to quality or fitness of a particular purpose may be annexed by the usage of trade. So the use of trading or the use of buying that product must be fulfilled. The objective or the purpose must be fulfilled. Is that clear? These are the 7 different implied conditions. Next, implied warranty. Possession of goods. That buyer may enjoy the possession of the goods sold to him without any disturbance. So let's say if you're purchasing a TV from Samsung showroom, right? And you purchase it and you agree you're paying full cash or you're paying EMI, whatever that is, you're purchasing that particular commodity. Now, once you purchase, it is understood, right? Implied means what? Something that is understood that the TV is manufactured by the company Samsung and that you can enjoy that particular product, right? Nobody else after you purchase is going to come and fight that, no, we have purchased that TV or we have manufactured the TV, you have to pay us the price and not Samsung, right? All such defects or all such issues should not rise. That means the buyer, once he purchases a particular good or a commodity, he must enjoy the possession of the goods without any disturbance. Okay, whether it is ownership rights or it is regard to payment, any of that sort of issues must not arise. That is called as implied warranty. Do you think the statement that he should enjoy the possession of the goods would be mentioned on the box of the TV? No, it wouldn't be mentioned. That is why it is called as implied warranty. It is understood. I don't have to mention it on the box of the TV. Next, dangerous nature must be disclosed. The seller should disclose the dangerous nature of the goods sold. If he does not disclose, then any type of loss suffered by the buyer will be compensated by the seller. This simply means that if you're dealing with electronic goods or if you're dealing with any specific goods which some kind of danger is involved, right? Let's say any kind of medicine or injections or anything, it is usually mentioned, keep it in a cool place or consume it only within this short time period or keep it away from children. It is not for consumption. It is only for cleaning purpose. Have you read all these warnings mentioned upon the different kinds of products that we purchase today, right? Those are what? Dangerous nature or simply warnings mentioned on the products or commodities for the consumer. Now, consumer has to go through all of that, any warnings or any kind of things that is disclosed on the product, he has to follow it accordingly. In case the supplier or the manufacturer has not mentioned that if this particular good has been manufactured, it will only work up to 10 hours. Beyond that, if you make it try to work, let's say it's an electronic device, the device will get heated up and it might may burst out and it might may create a lot of damage to the person. This condition or this effect of the product, the supplier or the manufacturer has not mentioned or has not disclosed it to the customer, and the customer continuously uses the electronic device for, let's say, 15 hours, and the customers get some kind of illness or the device damages. Who is supposed to be held liable here? The seller or the manufacturer. Reason being, he has not disclosed the warning or the dangerous thing about the particular product to the consumer or to the customer. Is that clear? So these are implied warranty. So whenever the supplier is manufacturing certain goods, it is his duty that he needs to mention such things upon the packet of the product or commodity. It is understood that he has to mention it. Whenever a consumer is purchasing it, he has to explain to him what are those conditions and what are the warnings to be considered. Is that clear? Two types of implied warranty: possession of goods and dangerous nature must be disclosed. So with this, we complete the second chapter, Sale of Goods Act.